All right, good evening, good evening, good evening. We're doing a late night stream over here on Learn Biz, the podcast, where two lawyers talk legacy. And tonight we got a special treat for you. We decided we're going to be like the YouTubers. We're going to come on here and chat with you guys about the upcoming stories in the blogs.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so it's a legacy talk. Jeannie Mai files response to Jeezy divorce. A lot of paperwork circulating. But before we get into the storyline, please, if you have not already done so, click like, click share, drop a comment, click the notification bell, and be sure that you are tuned in to our channel, Learn Biz, the podcast. We have just hit over 500 subscribers.
Thank you.
So thank you guys. So thank you.
Yes,
Please be sure that you are connected with us. And let's go ahead and get the party started with your two lawyers talking legacy tonight.
Oh, yes. How are you seeing law on a Friday night?
Girl, they got us out on a Friday night. And we don't usually do anything at night. We're on, team sleep at night. So I think this is a great time for us to check in as we just crossed over the 500 mark. I got to double check and see how far over this 500 mark we have hit.
We're excited.
I think we were at about 507 last I checked.
Nice.
Or maybe it was like 510.
Woo, I like that number.
I like 510. 510 is a good one.
Nice. Yeah.
So that means those who are going to catch the replay, you guys are going to have quite the treat. Thank you again for tuning in to Learn Biz, the podcast, where two lawyers talk legacy. We are very excited to kick off the month of December, the last month of 2023. Wow. I'm so done with 2023 at this point.
Oh my. Why?
I'm so done with 2023. I have had the roughest year with all kinds of foolishness happening. And these storylines, though, I'm mad that we missed a lot of them and we didn't really come on here as frequently as we'd like to, because our head was spinning with every new story that popped in. So you already know.
Yeah. And they were coming a mile a minute.
You already know. And this week, even more, it just seems like every time I turn around, there's a new story hitting. So without further ado, we need to chat about today the Jeezy and Jeannie Mai fiasco that's going on. So we got this legacy talk to hit you guys with. So let's take a look at some of these storylines, because there have been a ton of things kicking into the blogs. And, I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm just seeing these things pop up and I'm like, what in the world? So Jeannie Mai Jeezy divorce heats up in court docs, alluding to gatekeeping and infidelity. Now, there is nothing worse than having the word infidelity pop up when you're in the middle of a divorce proceeding and you are two individuals who I would categorize as high net worth. That can create some problems.
Oh, yeah.
And Lisa, you and I both know we've dibbled and dabbled in some family law. That's probably why we don't do family law. We've dibbled and dabbled in family law, and we both know that if you have a prenup, that's a good thing. But if your prenup doesn't satisfy some things to protect you individually, then it may not be so good.
Yeah, like if that prenup says that you keep yours and I keep mine, but if any one of us is found to have cheated on the other during the marriage, then the other one who cheats is going to be severely penalized. Whoa, that's different, huh?
It surely is. Look at them. Handsome couple. I thought they were going to make it, but I guess not. Jeannie Mai and Jeezy in the process of divorcing after 2 years of marriage. So let's see here. Things are getting tense as the Put On rapper, Jeezy had that song, I Put On, filed for divorce in September.
I put on for
Um,
my city. Is that where? Did I get that
you crazy.
right?
She's citing infidelity in a section of their prenup, and he's accusing her of gatekeeping their daughter. So basically, there's a part of the prenup that has some language about if there is infidelity, then this is what we get, or this is what we have the opportunity to get.
Right, right.
So,
I I get to dip into your pot more than you get to dip into my pot if
very
I
possible.
find that you've been cheating on me. How about that?
So the TV host and music star took subtle swipes at each other this week in court documents filed hours apart on Thursday in Fulton County Superior Court in Georgia. More than 2 months after filing for divorce, Jeezy, whose real name is J. Wayne Jenkins, filed
Jenkins,
a
baby.
motion.
His
Jenkins,
mama name is Miss Jenkins. Now you know how she must feel about the whole thing, Miss Jenkins. Woo.
Mr. Jenkins filed a motion for a temporary hearing regarding custody of their 1 year old daughter, Monaco. Now, I believe it's understood that I don't think they had a formalized visitation plan and a formalized time sharing type situation yet.
Right.
So he's filing this temporary hearing. He's filing for this temporary hearing to make sure that some issues are resolved because, according to Jeezy's motion, Monaco has been living with Jeannie Mai in the couple's Los Angeles home. Despite their agreeing to keep a visitation schedule in place until the end of the year, Jeezy is claiming that the coordinated co parenting responsibilities with Mai has become increasingly less feasible. Mm,
It's not working out in his favor, to his benefit. Maybe he's not getting as much time. Maybe he wanted 50-50 time. Maybe she's finding all kind of excuses why she can't meet him halfway to exchange the child. I've seen all those factors happen in these kind of relationships when they go south.
yeah, I mean, there's so many different situations that can happen because you have to think of it from this perspective. When husband and wife are living together, obviously you see the child all the time, or you have the child for whatever amount of time that you want without restriction. But when a separation takes place, now you have to figure out who's going to have the child when, who gets weekends, who gets nights, who gets the weekdays. Is there going to be a split? Are we going to alternate days? Are we going to alternate weekends? What
Right.
about holidays? We know
Who gets
Thanksgiving just
Christmas?
hit.
Yeah, who gets Christmas in the odd years and who gets Christmas in the even years? What
Yep.
about Thanksgiving odd years and who gets Thanksgiving in even year? Oh my God, there's like a whole schedule, even odd years where the parents have to alternate. That's how a lot of the standard schedules are set up.
Yeah. And it can be very challenging because, you may want to spend every holiday with your child, but you're not going to be able to. So it may be one of those I get Thanksgiving Day, you get the day after, right? I get Christmas Day, you get Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah.
New
I
Year's
get,
Day, New Year's Eve. Yeah.
the week that the kid is out of school, and you get the week after that. I
Spring
get them for the
break.
first half of summer, you get them for the second half of summer.
What about spring break? Because I used to always add spring break into my parenting agreements,
Spring break
and
was challenging because it's only a week.
it's
So,
1 week. I think what I used to do is split the whole week, like 3.5 days, three and a half
yeah.
days that way, or something. Or some parents would do alternate, even odd years on spring break.
The few family law cases I had, I think spring break was one of those. This year you have spring break, next year you do, because there may be a situation where one parent has the child more, so they'll get those types of time off. Because let's say the child is with you 5 days a week, and I only get them on the weekends or every other weekend. Well, when it came to break time, I would get the full break, for
Right.
example. So I guess it just depends on what your situation is. But let's see here. According to the motion, um, Monaco has been living in their home with Jeannie Mai. Obviously, it's becoming more difficult. The rapper claimed that lack of consistency, continuity, and stability has been stressful for their daughter and created unnecessary tension
I'm
in regards to
sorry.
each parent's duties and role. That
Wait,
sounds like the
wait, wait.
lawyer
I'm
writing.
sorry. I'm sorry. Is that because somebody filed for divorce and just ruined the whole marriage relationship
Girl,
and all the schedules got jacked up because folks are like breaking up and going their separate ways? I'm sorry.
girl,
Did not you start this, Jeezy? But anyway, I
girl.
digress.
I really digress. Like the curious thing about this situation is, if you listen to his interview with Nia Long, he talks about, they tried, they went to therapy and it just didn't work. I don't know how long they went to therapy. They've only been married 2 years, so I would think they would have gone to therapy for at least as long as half of their marriage or something. But apparently they went to therapy, it didn't work, and now we see clearly it wouldn't work because you guys can't even agree to a simple parenting time situation. So,
Hmm.
if you can't agree to parenting time, you darn sure can't agree to, you know, trying to work things out. So,
Well, but since most courts result to shared parenting initially, if he's saying that he's there's an indication that he will not be able to co-parent with her, that sounds like one parent or the other gets legal custody. If you can't do it together, then one parent will be chosen as the legal custodial parent. So I don't know if he is really making a good argument for himself or not right there.
well, my issue is, why didn't they just come up with a parenting, situation, a time sharing plan, officially? Because it seems like they just came up with a plan in the interim to close out the year, and I guess they would, focus on making adjustments for the new year. But honestly, if you're going to get divorced and you think it's pretty much over because you've tried, and there's no thought in your head of reconciliation, I mean, why not come up with a plan and have that hearing set and do that as soon as you filed for divorce? You could
Yeah,
have done that.
because you got to get some type of permanent schedule in place, although permanent on a temporary basis, because as the child ages and school obligations and schedules change, so will these parenting schedules. But yeah, I don't know why they're being so short-sighted with the parenting schedule.
Well, he's saying that she, the wife, is acting as a gatekeeper when it comes to exercising parenting time and rights. And he said it does not come from or with malicious intent. He claimed that the confusion and tension between the parties is working to stifle the development of his relationship with his daughter. So he's saying that she's not doing anything malicious or anything like that, but she's creating a situation where the daughter's relationship. So it's kind of like the interference. What do they call that when the father, when the parent is interfering with the other parent's relationship? I forgot what that is.
Yeah.
I forgot
Well,
that term. There's a term
well,
for that.
it is called interference. So I mean,
Yeah. So Jeezy's motion requested a hearing to address the temporary legal and fiscal custody arrangements and enter a temporary order in accordance with their daughter's best interest. So he's now looking for them to do this temporary order. They probably should have done that already, but I guess he was thinking that they were going to be able to amicably, work through
do it
things.
casually because
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of parents just like, okay, like this is my work schedule. You know when I work, you know when I'm off. We don't
right.
need to have the court tell us what our schedule should be for our child. Let's just do this together. And I commend them for trying to do it that way. But now he wants the court to order a schedule. Why? Because he needs some teeth to that order, and so he can enforce it in case Jeannie decides that she's not going to quite cooperate.
Well, less than 2 hours after Jeezy's motion was filed, Jeannie Mai submitted her response and a
Mhm.
counterclaim to her husband's September complaint.
Oh,
And
wait. So he sued her. Are you meaning to tell me that she sued him back?
she is suing him back. He filed his complaint for divorce, and she didn't respond all this time. But now in December, sorry, we're in December now. In November, basically he filed this temporary custody piece, and she was like, "Oh, okay, that's what we doing." I'm
That's
gonna
what we're
file my
doing.
response
Okay,
to your
then.
complaint
Okay.
now.
All right.
Which is strange because wouldn't you have a short window of time to file your response? I would have thought that response would have been filed already, unless she asked for an extension. Maybe it's possible they did an extension.
Is it a response to his motion? I thought she filed an answer to his complaint. Well, she did.
I don't know. It
She
says she submitted her response. I'm guessing she submitted her
that's an
response to his
answer.
motion
Okay, response to a
and
motion.
then a
So that
counterclaim to his complaint.
a counter came to his complaint would have had to be timely filed in relation to the complaint, right?
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
wondering if maybe some kind of extension was done since
possibly.
if they're having this discussion about having loose, time sharing and they're going to work in on the new year, maybe they might have filed something for extra time. All right. So in her counterclaim, she said she is seeking temporary and permanent physical custody of her daughter. Oh, but
Oh, well,
joint legal custody.
joint legal custody?
Joint legal custody, but she wants temporary and permanent physical custody. So she basically wants to have the child for
All the
her,
time.
and then he is going to get visitation,
The
is
schedule.
what
He
that
gets a
sounds like.
schedule. The child will be with her. She makes all the day-to-day decisions about the care, probably the schooling, the doctor. She
Well,
does
it
all
looks like
that.
joint legal custody, so they'd probably have to make joint decision making. But
Well,
she wants to have the child physically.
joint legal custody, is that distinguishable from shared parenting? Because shared parenting is a concept where I'm aware of where they make decisions together. Like they have to decide together who the doctor will be.
I
They
think
have
that's
to.
what joint legal custody would be in this instance. I don't know how
Okay.
Georgia does it, but I know in Florida, I think this concept of joint legal custody would have to do with the decision making.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then yeah, he's going to be integrated into deciding the schools, the doctors, what extracurricular activities she participates in. Um, he'll make major day to day decisions when he has care and control, just like Jeannie will.
Well, the filing also disclosed details from the couple's prenuptial agreement, including a section regarding infidelity. So she puts a little spotlight on this infidelity provision in the prenup. And it says
Mm-mm-mm.
in the event that either party engages in sexual relations, an emotional relationship, or is emotionally or sexually suggestive in communication with a third party via all forms of electronic communication. And then it has like a spacing, they probably list a few other things. It says, shall result in a significant financial penalty upon the adulterous party.
I'm about to get paid, boy. I'm about to get paid up in here. That's what that means, boy. Somebody, but guess what, Jeannie? You got to come with the proof, chickie. You got to have some proof. You got to prove it. You got to prove it. You got to
Well,
prove
guess
it.
what? Let's think about this. Discovery.
What? Oh, like he? Oh, yeah. He gonna say, well,
I
like
mean,
on.
she's probably going to say, I want to see bank statements. I want to, whether you've gone on dates with others, maybe you spent some money. I want to see social media communications. I want to see, text messages. I
Now
want to
you
see all these
know
things.
he's gonna say, look, I had to take my cousin to the Red Roof Inn to calm her down because she
No,
was going through
ma'am,
some things, and so I just
not the
sat there with her.
Jenkins.
I prayed with her. We
Uh-uh.
talked, and after about 6 hours, I took her back home.
Well, incidentally, TMZ reported that in September that the estranged pair were still living under the same roof in Georgia amid their split and under the specter of cheating allegations against Mai that sources close to her have since shut down. Because remember, for a minute, they kept talking about she possibly, they were alleging that she may have had some relations with her co host, Mario Lopez, with the Dimples. Mm,
Mr. Dimples.
Mr. Dimples. And that was like spreading, of course, because of actions that they saw People were posting videos on social media of Mario with his arm around her waist and those kind. They're co-hosts. They're on a show. They're doing entertainment. This has been happening. Jeannie Mai. The court filing also indicated that Mai requested that Jeezy pay her reasonable attorney fees and litigation costs, and that she be awarded a fair and equitable distribution of personal property acquired during the marriage. Now, I don't know why
What's
she
wrong
wants
with
him to
that?
pay her attorney's fees.
Wait,
Don't they both have some money?
wait a second. He filed for divorce, right?
Right. So
So
why would he pay her
he's
fees?
gonna drag her into a divorce that she wasn't even asking for. Yeah, you need to pay my attorney's fees. Exactly. I agree with
Girl,
that.
y'all gonna
Yes,
be paying your
exactly.
own fees. He's gonna be like, you got money, I got money. We both
Look,
got money. Pay your
hmm.
own attorney fees.
We'll see. Because if he got 70% and I got like 30%, he paying my fees.
So Maya and Jeezy married in March of 2021 after meeting on the set of her syndicated talk show The Real. A year later, they welcomed their daughter. In an October statement, the rapper said that the decision to separate from his wife was not made impulsively and comes with a heavy heart.
Wait a
And
second. How did he tell her? How did he spring it on her? Excuse me. Yeah. How
he
did he
just filed for
spring it?
divorce. That's how he filed. He sprung it on her. He filed for divorce.
He didn't even tell her he was filing for divorce.
I don't think so. I think she found out with the divorce filing.
That's
And
so
his
nice. That
comment
is
was,
so nice. That's really, really
girl,
nice, right?
his comment was, despite this, my love and respect for Jeannie remains, and the time we spent together holds a cherished place in my heart. He said, our beautiful daughter is the best gift from our relationship, and I am committed to assuring she feels the love and stability she deserves.
I
Hmm.
believe that. I believe that part. I'm sure none of this has to do with the love for the child, but wow, his love and respect for his wife. We don't even give her notice that we're filing for divorce. Wow.
Child, I don't know what to say about that. I just feel like there's just so many different things that happen in these types of relationships. And, you would think that there would be some kind of, I don't know. I mean, you guys have only been married for a couple of years. You feel like there would be some kind of lengthy process for them to divorce. But they just like 2 years, I'm out of here.
My problem with this whole thing is that even though they're in the public eye, their relationship does, and there's what they're going through doesn't have to be as public as it is. To me, they're putting their stuff out there, they're talking about it in social media, they're doing this to themselves. So when you talk about what is your legacy or creating a legacy, sometimes if you keep your mouth shut, your legacy might work out a whole lot better.
I mean, the challenges of these types of things is both of them are celebrities. Both of them have been around for quite some time. The media is all over this. Like every time they file something, it's gonna be in the blogs. It's gonna be all over.
But they don't have
And
to comment on it.
you know what this is. You already know. He has a book out. He's circulating his book. His book is called Adversity for Sale. You gotta believe. So adversity is for sale.
Did you say books
So
for sale? I
his
mean,
book is called Adversity for Sale. You gotta believe. And so if your book says adversity for sale, I'm very certain that every aspect of this divorce, you're going to throw out some little comments, some catchphrases. You're going to do interviews. I mean, think about he did that whole interview with Nia Long. You wouldn't really expect to see such a thing from him because he's not really one of those people that you expect to hear talking. Um, but he is talking,
so
and,
is he
and
monetizing his divorce situation?
adversity for sale. Adversity is for sale, and you not gonna adversity is for sale, ma'am. That's all I'm gonna say. Adversity is for sale. There was a short little video. Let me see if I can share this little video, where he is basically, I'm trying to see, there was a hint at infidelity or something, and they
just
had some
just a
commentary.
hint.
Well, let's see what they say.
Just a hint.
Speaking out weeks after splitting from Jeannie Mai Jenkins. 1 month after filing for divorce from the real host, the rapper who wed Jeannie in 2021 is breaking his silence on their split. Jeezy says in a statement obtained by E! News on October 19th, quote, "The decision to end this chapter in my life was not made impulsively and comes with a heavy heart. Despite this, my love and respect for Jeannie remains, and the time we spent together holds a cherished place in my heart."
Yeah,
He
yeah.
goes on to express how he and Jeannie will continue to put their 21-month-old daughter, Monaco, first, adding, quote, "Our beautiful daughter is the best gift from our relationship, and I am committed to assuring she feels the love and stability she deserves.
Just
During
cute.
this period, I kindly request that you respect our family."
Child, you talking about respecting the family time and privacy and all that other stuff. But it's just so interesting. You both are celebrities. Every single word that you utter is going to be spread every single place. If you post something on social media, the subliminal message of it is going to be discussed. If you
Yeah,
breathe on somebody, they're going to be like Jeezy was breathing on this woman. If you
right.
walk down a street, they're going to be like, oh, we saw Jeezy and he looks sad and distraught. If you're eating something, they're gonna be like, "Oh, Jeezy has gained weight because he's been eating all these foods after his divorce." Like, you guys are gonna
There's
be under super scrutiny. So to say
that's
that you
true.
kindly request, privacy, bruh, you ain't getting no privacy. You filed a divorce. I don't even think the homegirl knew that you were filing divorce,
That's the
and
part.
you already know that you all were all over the
That's the
social
part.
media spaces before this divorce. So how could you even have the audacity to think that you're going to get any privacy? You're a celebrity by every rate. There's no way you're not getting
But
privacy.
forget the privacy. Just don't talk. Just don't feed the frenzy.
You're not
Don't
getting privacy,
feed the frenzy. How about that? Don't feed it.
child. They do not care, and that's what I start to realize more and more and more. They do not care. Now, I know we're talking about this Jeezy and Jeannie Mai, but I feel like we had to have a little blurb because we were talking about this Jamie Foxx situation. Since we talking about
Not
lawsuits,
Jamie. Not Jamie.
since we talking about lawsuits, there
Lousy.
was some stuff coming out about Jamie Foxx and this lawsuit that was filed against him. And it's so interesting because I don't know. Jamie Foxx wasn't on my list of people that I really expected to see in these kinds of situations.
I didn't
But
either. I don't know why, but I just wouldn't expect it. But anybody could also make up anything too. I mean, so
so apparently, under this act, the Survivors of SA Act that was done in New York, there were a lot of folks that filed pleadings. I want to say there were over like 2,000 people, if not more, that filed their lawsuits in civil court. And Jamie was one of them. But the interesting part is, Jamie, in his case, the person who filed suit against him, this is not the first time that they filed suit against him. And so he in response was like, "Oh, you gonna sue? Well, we gonna counter sue. Like we not gonna backtrack and just give you some money. Like it's not gonna work that way." Well, the alleged sexual assault accuser, the SA accuser, says, "I am fearful," and she's pleading for her identity to be concealed in a lawsuit, but she's concerned for her safety.
whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, okay. So I understand.
Allegedly,
Allegedly, I understand being concerned for your safety, but what about the right of the accused person to face the person that's accusing them? You
uh,
know,
have they ever cared about
what
that?
what in other words, so I do know that victims of rape are or of certain crimes are intimidated, they're fearful, they can be threatened, it's embarrassing. All those stigmas are there. But don't you think the right to confront someone who's accusing you would generally outweigh all of that?
It's a slippery thing because we're not talking about everyday people. We're talking about super wealthy celebrities who have influence and power, and one word about this and people all over social media are dragging this woman, dragging her name, dragging her images, looking for her, She's not going to be able to, circulate like she would normally be able to, because it all depends on how much love and affection someone has for this celebrity.
I
Same
don't
as,
know if I believe that. In this case, I don't know if I believe it because some people are questioning whether or not Jamie Foxx is Jamie Foxx.
girl, do not start with this clone.
I'm just saying.
Girl, we were talking about Jeezy and Jeannie Mai, but we had to step over to this Jamie Foxx story just for a blurb. But
I'm
with these lawsuits, anybody can file a lawsuit. Anybody can
true.
file an answer to a lawsuit. We don't know who wins or loses until people go through the full-fledged process. And in this Jamie Foxx instance, again, this is an allegation. This person filed in court, and Jamie Foxx has the opportunity to respond. But she is pleading with the judge to keep her name hidden from the public,
No, ma'am, that doesn't.
so that,
I
he should have the right to confront
let
who
me
this
tell you.
person is. But the question is, does her name need to be revealed to the public?
Yes, she's an accuser. She's an accuser. You're gonna say I did something that might get me thrown under the jail.
But is it not
This
sufficient for Jamie Foxx to know who she is? You're saying that he needs to.
he needs to know. He needs to
So,
know who is accusing him. You know, look, he has to do some research. He has to go back and check some records, some things, some locations, and see what was up. He needs to know who she is so he can begin to check and see whether or not she's straight up lying or if there could be some truth or maybe a mistake. Like, I thought this was consensual, didn't you? I don't
I
know.
mean,
But he,
the problem with this is, when you file anything in a court, generally speaking, court proceedings are public. I think the only ones that are
unless
not
it's a
generally,
Jane Doe.
well, unless it's a Jane Doe, but generally speaking, the court proceedings are public. If you're able to get your name excluded from the proceeding, I mean, that's the only way that I would see that your identity is concealed. But the difficulty with that is you're putting someone else's name out into the public realm and accusing them of something. And so
Right,
right now, Jamie Foxx's name is blasted everywhere about this SA
right,
accusation. And just the accusation itself creates a cloud over him. So the
right.
fact that you can create a cloud over him and then you remain anonymous or private,
That's something
um,
wrong with that.
I there is something wrong with that. I mean, I,
Yeah.
I think I understand the dynamic, because obviously you're dealing with two different realms of people, one who has, power and influence, and one who probably does not, or at least we don't know, because we don't know who this person is.
But he
But it
hasn't
says,
threatened. I haven't heard anything that says he has threatened her, he has intimidated her, or done anything like that. So she is basically jumping the gun, saying that in my brain and in my head, outside of reality, I feel fearful now that I've come forward, and I want to now make it such that no one knows who I am because of the way I feel. He hasn't done anything to me. I've accused him of everything, but he's done nothing. But now I want to, put this additional burden that will impact his ability probably to deal with this case effectively.
well, according to court documents obtained by Radar Online, Fox's accuser asked for permission to proceed as Jane Doe in the lawsuit against Jamie Foxx, and she is accusing him of SA at a club in 2015. So, and it says in a newly filed affidavit, this person says she fears her name becoming public and wants to remain Jane Doe in the
Well,
case.
then
So
why
I
didn't
guess she
she
may
just?
have filed, I think she may have filed it as a Jane Doe, and she wants to remain Jane Doe. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, so it doesn't work that way. So we're talking, okay, I understand people are fearful. So 2015 is when it happened, allegedly, right? And
Allegedly,
then
yes.
after 2050 of 2016, then you have 2017, then you have 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021,
Well, actually, Lisa, I think
2022.
this person filed suit previously, but it seems that their suit was dismissed, and now they're trying to file suit under this act that opened up the statute of limitations.
Got it. Okay. Well,
So,
that answers that.
She said that she experienced an SA as indicated in the complaint, and as a result, she suffered psychological and emotional injuries. She does not desire to publicly disclose her identity as a victim of SA because the matter is highly sensitive. She has already experienced significant shock, shame, and embarrassment for her disclosure due to the prominence and celebrity status of the defendants. And she says defendants, so it must be some other folks in the suit as well. She added, this case has already been on every major news outlet and has caused me to fear for my safety given the fame of the defendant. I mean,
Oh
you
my
know,
God. She wants her, pardon this expression, but it's like, I want my cake and I want to eat it too. No, it's
I
like,
mean,
you don't get to
on her
accuse
side, let's play devil's advocate. If I'm alleging that a celebrity did something to me, and it's a celebrity of this caliber, not just any old regular old folks, I'm talking someone who has some status, name really circulates, has name recognition. If I'm going to accuse a celebrity of something, I'm going to be battling some really crazy factors because the likability of this celebrity is going to create reason for people to doubt me in the public court of opinion, in the court of public opinion. And so, how many times have we seen people dragging women who have alleged that they have been assaulted or, attacked or anything like that? And we watch how social media drags them, right? So, I think there's an argument to be made, but I just feel like, if someone were accusing me of something and my name is dragging all over the streets, I think that I it would be only fair for both names to be freely out in the public. Now, granted, I know that it comes with some issues, but that's a challenge for you to tell someone, okay, you can file a suit against me and my name is dragged all over, and you don't have to disclose your identity.
how does he defend how does one defend themselves if they don't have knowledge of the accuser?
I mean, I think if it were going to be done in a fair sense, it would be like, well, how about the lawsuit be anonymous on both sides? I don't see that happening, but
Wait,
if you
wait.
want your identity concealed, can we conceal my identity too as the defendant?
I mean, then we might as well not be filing a lawsuit, right? We might as well let it go. Just let it go. I'm just saying, if you're going to do it that way, you just might as well, because you have nothing.
It's
You literally
problematic.
have nothing.
Yeah,
This
it's
is so
problematic.
interesting. I'm sure I would think that his team, Jamie's team, is going to object to that type of motion, for her identity to stay sealed. It's like, look, you done drug my name through the mud, but you don't want nobody to know anything about who you are. Really?
Yeah, it's a real challenge. The big picture with a lot of these lawsuits is people understanding how a lawsuit works. When someone files something against you that alleges anything, especially these cases that are talking about SA and grape, um, someone filing these allegations against you, as we said in our last video, are just allegations. I, as the respondent to your allegations or the defendant to your allegations, have the opportunity to respond. And I have the opportunity to call your allegations into question. And ultimately, if the case actually goes forward in the courts, there would be discovery, which is the opportunity for both sides to get information from each other and documents from each other and evidence from each other, like videos and pictures, and documents from cell phone records and documents from
But
banking
what
accounts.
evidence would there be of a one time, unless you have security footage from the
Witnesses,
club?
maybe
Okay.
witnesses, people who spoke to you either right after or people who witnessed what was going on. Because some of these scenarios that are popping up, when it comes to this New York law that opened up the statute of limitations, some of the issues that the ladies are mentioning in their complaints, there were people around,
Right,
there
right.
were witnesses, they
Right.
spoke to someone right after, or somebody popped up, or there was a security guard present, or there was a bartender, like there was somebody present or nearby when this happened or immediately right after. or
Right.
the person might have went and sought medical attention right after, or
Right.
they reported it to somebody but it just never went anywhere because of the status of the person they were reporting against.
Or
um
sexual assault doesn't necessarily mean sexual intercourse. Sexual assault could be,
I
from my
mean,
basic understanding, touching someone in a erogenous zone, on the buttocks or on the breast
it
area.
depends on whether or not that's what's defined. Because remember, we're talking about these specific New York laws, and that
Right.
definition may
Could
vary
be.
from what we're talking about. It could not even.
That's
It
true.
might even be a situation where it's not actual, contact. It could be suggestive behavior. It could be
That's true.
attempted behaviors.
Right. That's
It
true.
could be, a fondling or anything like
Right.
that. So I don't know. It's just too much.
It's a
That's
it,
all this
it's a
is.
it's a lot, and then some things, if it's a touching type situation where you reach out and touch someone, then there could be an issue of whether or not it was perceived incorrectly, like from maybe it wasn't intended as the way it was perceived. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can come into play, so we'll see how it plays out, or we'll see if Jamie just decides if he's just going to pay her off.
Look, I don't know how that's going to go, but I don't see any payoffs happening in that. I don't see any payoffs happening in the Diddy case, the second Diddy case that was filed, or even the third. I mean, I think that we may see some of these cases go forward a bit. Well, they may settle later, but they may go forward a bit with some work. What I'll just say is, when it comes to any of these cases, in this case, tonight's episode, we were talking about Jeannie Mai filing her response. Again, Jeezy filed for divorce.
Yep.
When he filed for divorce, he didn't make any allegations. He just used the generic language, which is the marriage is irretrievably broken. He wanted everything basically, 50-50 in terms of the child. I don't remember his language when it comes to the division of property, but I would imagine he would want them to divide property according to either what they brought in or what their prenup says. And for folks who don't understand how a prenup works, a lot of times people talk about, the importance of a prenup and having a prenup. Some people think prenups don't work. Some people think that, prenup is not as good as the paper that it's written on. A prenup is a contract, and it's a contract between the two parties that says, hey, we're getting married, or hey, we're already married. And these are the terms and conditions upon which, if something were to happen and we end up no longer staying married, these are the terms and conditions that we want to have in place. We may have terms that say, we want to, leave with what we came in with, or we want to split everything down the middle, or we want to have some specific rules about if we divorce because of your infidelity or my infidelity, or if we divorce because of financial issues, or if we divorce, like, we may have some specific things that we want in place so that there are rules to our separation and ultimate divorce. And if you make sure that those rules are clearly outlined and you have an attorney really carefully craft your prenup or postnup, you may prevent a lot of issues that tend to happen after people separate.
Right.
However,
Right.
a prenup is not locked in stone, right? Words on a document are for interpretation. And just like Lisa and I will have pushback about different things when we're talking about legal issues, a prenup is very much home to opportunities for debate.
Oh yeah.
Debating over words, debating over paragraphs, debating over intentions. Um, so I think there's a lot of stuff that can be addressed in a prenup, but it's not the end all. There are
Right.
things that can happen. So Jeannie Mai filing her response and basically saying, hey, I want physical custody of the child. Like, I want to have
Yeah.
the child
Yeah.
physically,
Yeah.
and then maybe we're going to have him have some visitation. But I
That's
also
right.
want you all to take a look at the provision in the prenup that talks about infidelity. Why would she refer to that?
She's
I
like,
don't know.
Judge, we're going to need to get some discovery on that section that deals with infidelity and cheating. Hint, hint,
Right.
Mr. Jeezy. Mr.
Hey,
Jenkins. Mr.
but
Jenkins, did you catch that over there? It's a little hint. Some
but that slope goes both ways, because the language of that prenup talks about, different behaviors, whether it be online communications or in-person communications or suggestive behaviors,
Let me tell
and
you one thing,
he could
Sandy. Let
use that
me just
against her too.
There's one thing in that you read that I didn't really agree with. If you have some type of emotional relationship with someone, it didn't say sexual, it just said some kind of emotional. Do you remember what that part was like at the very top of the list of things?
Let me pull up the. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Let's look at it. Um, I hate when I mess it up and I didn't pull it up
Yeah, I
right.
think I had it on
Okay,
my
I think I got it
phone.
right here.
Okay.
It says, in the event that either party engages in sexual relations, and again, there's going to have to be some definition of what sexual relations are, because it doesn't, it doesn't have to mean full out intercourse. It could mean any activities that are even on the surface of that, right? Sexual relations has to be defined in this prenup. An emotional relationship. Well, what does
Stop
that mean?
right there. That's
What does
what
that
I
mean?
heard. That's what I heard that threw me. What do you mean that if I find that you are involved in an emotional relationship with another, that you get a penalty under this prenup? What in the heck do they mean by an emotional relationship? You can have an emotional relationship with your pets, with your parents. So,
Guess what?
come on
If that
now.
prenup doesn't define these terms, you're leaving yourself open for a lot of interpretation, and that goes both ways. It also says, or is emotionally or sexually suggestive in communication with a third party via all forms of electronic communication. So, third party is basically anybody, because the first party and the second party are the husband and the wife. So, third party could be your mama, it could be your daddy, it could be your cousin, it could be your sister, it could be the person down the street, it could be your neighbor, it could be your boss. Like, that's very open.
Especially the emotional part. That's what you're talking about, right?
That's
Yeah.
very
It's
open.
very open.
Actually, I say both, because you could be flirting with the lady that's at the front desk because you're just being nice to her, but that could be interpreted as sexually suggestive.
Uh
You could be sending a text message to the nanny or the babysitter, or you could be sending a message to a coworker, or something playful, and it could be interpreted as sexually so I would hope that this prenup has some clear language and clear definitions of these terms, because these are way open.
that emotional relationship part, I'm like, really? If so, she would probably be able to prove he was in an emotional relationship, maybe with the
It wouldn't
pet.
be hard, because this language is way too open. It wouldn't
She
be
about to
hard.
get paid. Jeannie May about to get paid.
Oh Lord, but I think we've dived in a bit. Maybe we can get a hold of a copy of the complaint or something, and we can do some more digesting as this thing heats up. But I hope you guys found this helpful. When we talk legacy, all of these documents that are being filed and all of these stories that are being written, this is having a huge impact on Jeezy and Jeannie Mai's legacy, because both of them were known for many years as just I never really heard any issues about Jeezy or any issues about Jeannie Mai. At least not in this realm, right? Relationship conflicts and stuff like that. We know Jeezy has some, he has children. He has a couple children, if I'm not mistaken, and he's been in other relationships, and we've seen him over the years. But at this level of having this type of conflict in a relationship, I don't know that I've really heard him in the news this much. He's had a good news cycle for sure on this story. So I don't know what else to say about that, but hope you guys enjoyed this. Any other thoughts, Lisa?
I saw Jeezy at a club down in South Beach one time, and
Stop it.
he seemed really nice and everything, like that and everything.
Was he being emotionally suggestive in his communication
I
with you?
thought he was
Because you're a third
being
party.
very emotionally suggestive. Yes, he was. I saw him smile. He even laughed. I definitely saw some emotions on him. Definitely.
Girl,
You
I'm done.
got him, Jeannie. You got him, girl.
I'm done with you today. Guys, we hit over 500 subscribers today, December 1st. We are so, so thankful for each and every one of you who continue to tune into our channel, those of you who watch the replay, those of you who like and subscribe and comment and click the
Yeah.
notification bell. Thank you, thank you, thank you to each and every one of you for supporting us here at Learn Biz, the podcast, and watching our show on this channel, Two Lawyers Talk Legacy, where we're just breaking it down. We were talking about Jeannie Mai filing her response and listening to all the juiciness of what Jeezy had to say and what Jeannie Mai pointed to in the prenup. So we're looking forward to seeing how this plays out, guys.
As they say, give me prenup, give me prenup.
We won't prenup.
We won't prenup.
All right, guys, I hope you have a great night. I'm sure we'll tune in again. We're looking forward to a really great December. Keep those likes and subscriptions coming. Please help us on our road to 1,000 subscribers. We hope to have a blink of an eye and it'll be right there. All right,
Yes,
guys,
thank you.
have a good night.
Have a good one.